TGIF Warriors, dollar bouncing. How are you, Bran? Kman, TGIF to you, Monir. Thank you, buddy. How are you? James Groom. How's it going? So let's take a look at what's happening here. Euro a little weaker than cable, but even cable's diverging a little bit here. So get rid of that. Here we are. Okay, so have this little bounce in dollar. To me, it's the first divergence I've seen on the way down. Okay, this lower low, marginally higher RSI might be drive two. So my rules on the first divergence is it's a cover short. It's not a reversal. Okay, so in the three drives, the second drive is always liquidation because we're not confirming, right? The news was that, it was so weak down here, right? RSI. So, I mean, you could use RSI not just for turns, but for confirming the trend. So when it's confirmed here and it bounces, the likelihood of this being the low is low because of the reading. It implies another low is coming. Now we have it. It's not confirming. Cover dollar shorts. Okay. So there's also even a little divergence in cable up here today. Cable making a new high, unlike what happened with Euro, couldn't do it. And even Aussie, which has been holding up the best, looks like there could be a little cave happening here. I still think gold is topping. We had this false breakout, and we're holding this 50 on the 4 hour, and we're also we were rejected off the breakout line that was a false breakout a couple of times. So we'll see what happens. Silver, this whole time failing to make new highs with gold. And, this doesn't look like this is going to be favorable if we're going to start heading up again for silver. So just something to keep in mind. And lastly, but not least, is yesterday was pretty key in the S&Ps. We tried to negate the breakout and it held. So that's all I could say right now is it held. I would assume that there could be a, push to new highs off this, but, this is an area just because it held once, because doesn't mean it'll hold again. So this is the second time. All right. So we'll see if we get another test. I'm looking, as far as stocks are concerned, I'm going to be paying real close attention to Apple. Okay. Next week we have NVIDIA earnings, so that's a no touch. I've done that before. But when I look at Apple here, guys, I'm not an expert Elliottician, but unlike NVIDIA, that decline down there at 113 was the end of four. This was five waves in Apple. And I'm seeing this as just being corrective. And I'm going to be looking at trying the 78.6 level up here around 251. I'm wrong on closes into new highs. That's over 260. So planning to do that either right before or after NVIDIA earnings next week. So that's my rundown on the market. Those are my calls. The next one is yours, Kman.
Good morning, Dale. Good morning, everybody. This was
Yeah.
F.A.C.E. Thank you very much for coming. Oh, no, I mean, I absolutely agree with everything you said. So,
All right, let's go home. Blake, can we go home now?
It's
Dale,
Friday. Why not? Wait, no.
Anyway,
Wait,
no,
wait. No, you got
we
a
have
guest
Tracy.
today.
Oh yeah, your speaker mate is
My
going to be
buddy,
with
my
us.
buddy Tracy's here today. That's
Yeah,
great.
so
Anyway,
okay.
go ahead. You guys
Anyway.
go ahead with your conversation.
All right. Anyway, so come on,
well,
man.
Dale,
Give me a counterpoint.
no,
I
but
mean,
it's exactly what I did this morning. I let my Aussie go, I let my cable go, and I took
yeah.
my short dollars. People in the room, they will have had it live. So that's exactly what I
Yeah.
did. I
Okay.
gradually
Nice.
scaled out yesterday. So pretty interesting levels in all of them. Intermediate maybe, but the Aussie has stalled in a very interesting zone, anywhere between 63.95 and 64.15. There's a lot coming together.
Yeah.
Also the top of the daily cloud. Aussie may be one that where the people are watching that cloud. It's also been stopped a bit in its path due to a weaker Aussie Kiwi. The Kiwi has taken over. That is looking a little better, I must say. And the euro stopped just above 105, where it had to
Yeah.
stop, and then we got some weaker or weakish PMIs this morning. We do have PMIs coming up in the States as well, and the Michigan a little later. And also, it's perhaps time finally for the euro to have a look at what's going to happen on this weekend's German elections. So
Yeah.
there are reasons enough now for this move to at least stall a bit in the euro, and the other ones are on interesting levels.
Do you have anything cloud support wise? Like, say we got, I'm thinking halfway back is viable. It's possible. Do you,
63.30 is 63.30. I'm already looking at perhaps re
okay.
if we
All
if
right.
um
Do you have
the
anything down here? Just quick look at the bottom of the
let me
cloud.
quickly while I'm talking to you, let me quickly look at what's going on there.
Does this be about halfway back, 62,
Yeah,
50?
well, the bottom of the cloud is actually lying around 62 and a quarter, 62.35 for the next
Oh,
few days. So that's interesting.
cool. Cool. All right.
Yeah, that is
So,
interesting. But
yeah,
I'm not
see,
sure if we can get down there.
yeah, I'm
Now,
never sure.
no, but you know what? I think this things are stopping a bit. Profit taking on dollar shorts, yes, but the sentiment in the US is, in my opinion, turning a little bit. We will need confirmation on February data, but you know what I said. I mean, everything that happened before Trump's inauguration is history basically, and now we need to look at what's happening since he took the seat again officially, and I'm kind of seeing, at least for now, some sentiment turn, or at least giving back some of the positives, and so I'm not sure whether the dollar can really rally a lot.
Yeah.
Just yeah, I mean, every pair has two sides, of course, but if it only depends on the dollar, I'm not sure whether we can retrace really a lot. Because I let my cable go, but I'm already thinking like if I get a decent dip, then I'm going to re-enter. Yeah,
20,
so
24 and a half,
oh no,
25.
not even there, not even there. I mean, there's a first little level there at 610, 615, but then I think somewhere in those mid 125s there,
Yeah, there.
I'm gonna get really interested again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Mm,
What do you think? I think that Forex Analytics put out a tweet that there'll be lots of willing sellers. Was that Blake? Was it
yeah.
51 or 52? 51?
50, 80, 51 already. I
Yeah.
reckon, and then of course 52 is a magic number, but
Yeah.
yeah, Ueda commented a little. I mean, the finance minister Kato and Ueda both commented, and that saw the blip higher in dollar yen despite stubborn inflation data, because Ueda Kato was a bit complaining about rising yields and the stress that it could bring on the debt servicing, which is obviously a big issue in Japan because they're running at over the double of over 200% of GDP debt, over there. And then Ueda came on and said, like, well, yeah, if we see a spike, an unwanted or unwarranted spike in yields, we could step in and buy some gingerly, buy some JGBs again, and the market flipped around. It's still a volatile. It's still a volatile currency, the yen, and we'll have to continue to trade it as such. But yeah, I completely agree. I think rallies should find sellers.
Okay. All right, Blake, we're ready for you. So, what you don't agree with everything, do you?
I agree with everything you said. All right, let's bring in Tracy. Just kidding.
Yeah.
The thing about the dollar, though, I mean, the dollar is, I do have to say it's bouncing exactly where it should bounce. This is a 38% retracement long term. I mean, we've telegraphed that over the last 24 hours, and if you just look at the dollar index, I mean, the dollar index is, like I said, it's just bouncing where it should. And I'm not. Well, I agree with exactly what Kman said. Is I'm not sure we're gonna get much from here, but you can see that long-term 38% retracement of this whole move up since September. I mean, we basically are bouncing from this level. I still think there's further downside to go, but we were just having this conversation in the chat room, and I'd love to get Kman's opinion here because he obviously had some things to say about it on the Flow Show. James came in and he said, is wondering if the German election risk is weighing on the euro. Now, the German election isn't this weekend; it's next weekend.
No,
Is that
no,
correct?
it's this weekend.
Isn't it a debate this weekend?
No. I think it's this weekend, the elections, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I thought.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so tell us the reason why the German election is maybe a risk for the euro, in your opinion.
Well, there's a couple of things to look at there. Well, first of all, the market is going to very closely monitor how much the far right party is going to get, the AFD. We know that it's supported by your new vice president, Mr. Musk. And yeah, I think that's the first thing that the market is going to watch, because a really big advance. So now they are running at around, in the polls, around 20%, but get anywhere closer to 25 or above, and it may create a bit of a psycho move in, I think. On the other hand, we'll have to look at because the CDU CSU Merz is probably going to get the biggest amount of votes. The polls are showing about 30% for them, but then we will have to look at, can they form a reasonable coalition, and a reasonable coalition meaning that they can get above 50% without having to use too many or any of the real small parties. Okay, you can have the Greens will probably be back in there if they can form a coalition, plus is it FDU or something, and so that is the second thing, because Germany will need to spend a lot. They will need to give up the debt break for the next 5 or so years, and they need a workable coalition to put it in place. And there it brings us again to the question: are they going to get it? So depending on that, we will have, I guess, finally a real reaction in the euro, because who says Germany says, of course, one of the big engines in Europe, and we cannot dismiss what happens in Germany, okay, for just for the rest of Europe. So and as I was saying as well, I don't think it well. We've seen some weakness on some euro crosses, but the data were supportive for a weaker euro. But I would say that the majority, unless the bigger players have been putting on options or so, but the majority of the market has been too busy with Trump and geopolitics and what else not to really start trading those elections. So we could have the actual effect coming in Sunday night or Monday morning.
So yeah, so there could be an actual reaction there. And
Yeah.
speaking of the data that came out overnight, it was a little mixed, right? Which is
Yeah.
interesting that we've seen the manufacturing indexes actually perk up a little bit, but the services
Services,
PMIs came in a little weaker. Is that correct?
services in France. Services in France. You know, services at the end of the last year, they were actually doing better than than the Germans, and now they got like an absolute massive job there. It is really, it's one of the worst data since 2023. They given up. People are talking about a recession now, and no, it's that's been a bit disgusting, that number.
Okay, and the UK PMIs were a little mixed as well.
Yeah.
But UK retail sales not so bad. And that's, I guess, it still hit the sterling though overnight. So
Yeah, because in the UK PMIs, there's been this line that the UK private sector employment saw its sharpest decline since 2020, and so that is also one of the reasons why cable has given up some of its gains. But all in all, it's still holding. If you look at because you can't only measure it on the cable. You'll have to look at the crosses, and through the crosses, sterling is still doing kind of okay, I would say.
yeah. I mean, it's not horrible, and I mean, euro
No,
sterling is still at the 78% retracement. I actually almost bought euro sterling early, well, actually 2 days ago, which I would have bought it basically where we're at right now. I ended up not doing it, but it's I mean, sterling's holding up pretty damn well.
yeah, I mean the euro sterling could end up being the battle of the week if the UK data start to deteriorate as well. And then yeah, what's it gonna do? And I'm still, but I'm still short euro sterling. But it's become a technical play now. If it goes back above 83 figure five, I'm gone. But for as long as we're below, fine. I'm letting it run because we can have a last look at those low 82s, which are obviously a massive level.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very, very critical. Obviously, because if you start breaking below 82 pence, I mean that's like the death knell for this particular pair, I would think. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of open air below there,
Oh
so
yeah. And and
yeah.
and actually that 82 level goes back like historically as well to yeah,
Yeah,
really.
it'd be crazy. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there at the very moment.
Yeah.
Today we have US PMIs, and I know the market's going to be looking at that. There was also another headline that really hit the market this morning, which I'm surprised it hasn't weighed on the market a little bit more. You'll see the headline about UNH and what's happening in, this is a Department of Justice launches investigation in UNH. And check this out, Dale. I mean, look at what happened to the Dow futures this morning. Soon as that hit, Dow futures, where are they? They're right
Down
here.
200.
Check them out this morning. Soon as that came out, I mean, actually, that's not it. Let's go right here. There we go. There's the Dow futures, and they just absolutely got smashed this morning. That's the diamonds, but it's still,
Yeah.
you can see what's happening here. Yeah, kind of crazy reaction, and I'm surprised the rest of the market isn't taking notice of that. So
Yeah, they've been taking stocks out and shooting them, and the averages have been holding.
they've been holding up pretty well, but I have a feeling that Doge is really going to, now I know this is Department of Justice, it's not Doge, but we were talking also in the Forex Analytics community. We were just having this conversation about a lot of these job losses that are going to start mounting soon. And guys, if you're not in the Forex Analytics community having these conversations with us, like Kman and myself and Ryan, who's usually in there, make sure you're in the Forex Analytics community in the chat room. All you have to do is click this little button right here. Takes you right over to the chat room. And we were talking about that I think that the jobs picture, the labor market in the U.S. is going to start to turn sour quickly. and that's really going to start to increase the discussions and the talks of a possible recession, sooner rather than later. And I think it's going to really start to weigh on the dollar. That's why I think today's PMI data that comes out a little bit later is going to be pretty critical. And I also have to mention, and I know I'll talk about this on the week ahead video. Next week we have PCE data, and everybody's kind of brushed off the CPI and the PPI with Powell talking about how important the PCE is. That's going to be next week, and plus next week we have earnings from Nvidia. We have earnings from Salesforce. I believe there's a couple other chip makers that have earnings. So there's some pretty key events happening this next week. But I just noticed Steve is here and wanted to see if Steve had any opinions on what's happening in Germany, German election, anything he wanted to discuss today. Steve, so how you doing? And he's muted, and he's not here, or he's here. He's just not saying anything. Huh. All right.
Well,
Well,
I think.
well,
Can you do? Who could do a Steve imitation? Anyone have
I
the
can't.
accent?
I'm not. Kman, you good at Steve?
No,
Can you do it?
no.
All right.
I don't
No,
have a Greek accent.
yeah, he's unique. You can't. Yeah, it's tough to do
All
the
right. Well, let's
professor.
see if
All
Steve
right.
might pop in a little bit later. So, Dale, here we are at the end of the week. We've got, obviously it was a really, really quiet week to kick us off. I was a little disappointed in myself that me leaving didn't help create a little bit of volatility, spark a little bit of volatility in the markets. But we got some volatility at the end of the last couple of days in FX. The FX market's been kind of whipping around a little bit. But how you see in the markets right here, right now, and what's on your radar as you go into the end of the week this week?
Well, the Dixie at this low diverged. So the first divergence is a cover short. So covered shorts in dollar, that could be the second drive. I'm looking for 104.50, 105, but we could bounce first. I think we should stay under 107 or something else is, 107.50 at the most, or something else is happening. We could rally back to, uh, I'm neutral. So, I'm more bearish in metals right now than that, and I really think that people ought to be booking their miners. I think they could be really vulnerable if you get a combination of correction in gold and a risk-off event at the same time. So the miners won't have the physical price working for them, and they'll have the pressure of liquidation happening in the market. So,
Got it.
yeah,
And gold's at an interesting inflection point in my opinion. And I was talking about this on the trade-off show last night with Chris Weston. It's either, it's at the 161% extension of the last, big move lower that we've seen. I don't know if I'd chase it up here. I still don't have an argument to be a bear
no, it's a
per
good
se.
week. We could make new highs next week, but
I mean, I think we can. And channel
but if you don't
resistance
have
is
to
very
be
far away.
perfect, if you don't have to be perfect because you're leveraged, it's not a bad time to be looking to take profits in gold.
Right. What I was hoping was going to happen this week, which didn't happen, Dale, regarding gold, and that was prior to kind of later in the week. I was really hoping we'd set up like a double top, give us a correction back to 2,800, and allow for us to reload at 2,800, but that just hasn't been the case. So yeah, I'm really not too sure what to do with it personally. I mean, I'd like to be on the long side. I just don't want to do it necessarily here.
Yeah, maybe
But this is also
2,800.
one of those moves that, I mean, if it broke out to the upside, it could really accelerate. I mean, I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
what's going.
we
I don't know
could do an audit on Fort Knox and find out there's just bricks painted yellow in there.
You know what's funny is Besant is I watched the full interview with him yesterday, the Bloomberg interview. It was like 30 minutes long. And he's like, I invite any senator to come over and visit Fort Knox and see all the gold that we have. I was like, damn, he's for real.
Yeah.
He's not messing around there. And by the way, that is a good interview. If you guys haven't had a chance to watch it, I think it's when you hear his comments about
That was a
revaluing
great pick
gold.
by Trump.
I think
That
so too. I actually think he's going to be he's got a lot of work to do. But if there's anybody that can do it, I actually do agree with you, Dale. I think he's great. Hey, Kman, we have a few minutes before we wrap up the week. What's your big takeaway from this week as far as price action goes in the markets? What are you really focused on in the days ahead? Like I said, I know the volatility was pretty tame earlier in the week, but what are you thinking as we wrap up this week?
I'm thinking that sentiment in the US, um, the changes in sentiment in the US are having quite an impact on markets now, and that is something that I was kind of expecting to happen. So any weakening in sentiment in the US is having an instant impact because we have seen the dollar rally quite sharply the prior weeks, but then now we are even in the euro dollar, where the euro is one of the weak ones in the market based on data and fundamentals. Even the euro rallied 250 points from the lows. That says something, and the cable rallied 500 points from the lows. That says something, and so that's I think one of the lessons that we can take is that sentiment in the US is going to be very important. And the other one, and that's looking a little bit ahead, is that for me, there's still a lot to happen on geopolitical, political front, trade front. Let's not forget we have G7, G20 as well next week, and the US has already hinted that they won't sign the statement if Russia is called an aggressor. So that's going to be another one that could potentially add a bit of stress in the market. So that is this kind of the way that I'm trading right now. And probably the last thing is that the yen still has relatively decent tailwinds, and that should find bids on dips. The yen. I'm not overly sure that the dollar is the best instrument, but I'm looking at a few crosses, perhaps like euro yen or so. They should remain on the defensive.
Well,
Hey,
I'm
I have a
hoping.
question.
Go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right, I just, back in August, the unwind of the carry trade created a problem when the yen first started rallying. Now people had plenty of time to unwind it during the
Mm.
recovery. Is there any chance that there could be a carry trade unwind 2.0 that the
I
market is going to
I
care about?
it may, because there's always going to be a part of the market. Mrs. Watanabe, sons and nephews, are probably still having positions. But I think the big unwind for the bigger speculators has happened, and people are actually looking
Didn't we
at the
just
other
have this
side.
conversation in the chat room yesterday, K-Man?
Yeah. I mean, I think the major part has happened. I don't think we are ready for another big accident on the unwind front.
Okay,
Because as I
thank you.
said, people are already putting options in place for the long side yen and things, and so most of them must be covered, Dale. So
Okay,
I'm not
thank
sure
you.
that the unwind of the carry trade is going to be the next big thing in yen. I think the next big thing in yen could be the Japanese whales. And as I was saying, perhaps still a bit of time to go because they may not make that decision before the end of fiscal year, at least not in full. But the Japanese JGB yields are coming in an area where the whales are going to get very interested, I think.
Or how about this, K-Man? And by the way, we have Canadian retail sales coming out in like literally 25 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not be a yen carry trade or a carry trade unwind, but at the same time, let's not forget that when's the last time Japanese rates in the 10-year rates have been above
1.5%.
a 0.5%, and then their nominal rate now is much higher, like a lot of people believe. So, I mean, the fact of the matter is we're just getting. Oh, by the way, Canadian retail sales probably just came out and stronger than expected. I think must be because you see it.
No, I don't.
The reaction was we got some
They
dollars.
leaked it.
They always do. I tell you
Yeah.
what,
They
always.
must have been out, but
Oh, here it is. Yep. Stronger than expected.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stronger.
2.5% versus 1.6%. That was the month over month number. So dollar CAD is slipping here. No, but what I wanted to say is, I mean, if you look at 10-year yields and then you go look at the JGBs, I mean, this is a big move. Let me go find this move here. Let's go over to, look at the 10-year yield right here, and
Mm-hmm.
then match that up against the US 10s.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the tailwinds I was talking about, and
I mean, look at that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huge divergence. So, I mean, it may not be a carry trade. It just might be a just straight up yield move here.
Yeah,
That's
I
like
mean that is
Yeah.
one of
Hey, good afternoon.
okay, guys. I'm leaving it to Steve.
Blake.
yes. Good morning, Steve. We were
Hey,
looking
mate.
for you 10 minutes ago.
Oh, sorry, I was on a call. Listen, this is I'll be brief because you have an interview. This is a big move we've seen in Japan in yields. People should keep in mind, though, that current inflation in Japan is 4%. Right. So, yes, yields have moved up substantially, but inflation is a lot higher.
Yeah,
Real
that's what
yields
I
in
was just
Japan
going
are
to say.
still deeply negative.
Interesting. That means there's more to go. A lot more to go.
Yes, potentially there is a lot more to go. Yes.
Yeah,
Thanks, Steve.
and especially if we see U.S. inflation, we start to see some deflationary pressures. Steve, thank you very much. And I know Tracy's here, and Dale's bringing Tracy in as a guest. And Tracy, I just want to say it was so wonderful meeting you in person this week. If you guys want to see a recent picture as of what night was that, Tracy?
That was Tuesday night. Yeah.
Tuesday night. So that was Tracy and I Tuesday night. And by the way, I was going to tweet something yesterday and I asked Lisa, Tracy and Lisa got along famously this week, which is
She's
my wife.
amazing.
Yeah, she loves you. I was going to tweet this picture last night, and I'm waiting for her to do filter stuff because I'm not a filter person. So, so
Okay.
anyway,
You guys
Tracy, it
get
was
the sneak peek unfiltered view.
yes, this is the sneak peek unfiltered view before I can actually tweet one out later today. But hey, I just want to say, Steve, it was good to hear your voice. Sorry, we were trying to ping you a little bit earlier. Kman, thank you for covering, especially the Flow Show without Ryan. I know he'd been out the last couple of days. And Dale, I'm not going to take any more of your time with Tracy. Tracy, it was really, really awesome to meet you in person this week. It's been a long time coming. We've known each other for at least
At
12
least.
years, maybe.
Yeah.
So
At least.
yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna pass it over to you, Dale. Have a great interview with Tracy. She's one of my favorite people around. So
Hey, Tracy.
Hey, so great meeting you, Blake.
nice meeting you as well.
Okay, hiya, Tracy.
Hey, guys.
How
You
are
can
you?
take that picture off now.
Done.
Okay. All right, let's look at some other pictures then. Tracy, you want to share what you talked about in Las Vegas at the Money Show?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of just talked about a little bit about markets in general, a little bit about trading. We covered obviously FX and commodities, and a lot of talk about the metals. So silver and gold and platinum, obviously, because they've been on the move. So That's really in sum what it is. I hear that they did record it and film it, so hopefully we'll be able to get a copy of that so your listeners and subscribers can take a look at it.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we get a little bit more specific? Your view on the dollar after this pullback from 110, pretty nice start if we're going to have a bear market in the dollar. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it looks like it's rolling over a little bit. I think the administration would like that. They've said as much as they'd like a little bit of a weaker dollar. The problem there is, tariffs. So that is always kind of a dollar positive. But again, the administration would like to see a little bit of a weaker dollar. So we'll see.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of polar opposite market impact. So um, would you use tariff dollar strength to sell into? That's kind of what I've been doing. Anytime there's a tariff announcement, sell
Yeah, I think
dollar strength. It was pretty
yeah,
tough to do it after the first announcement. I mean, go back to,
right.
that
I
was
think
in the,
it seems like every new
yeah,
announcement is giving like it's a little bit less of a reaction, like law of
okay.
diminishing returns. Like the first tariff announcement, we saw a
What's
huge move in
this?
the dollar,
Yeah,
right?
right
And then
there.
each subsequent announcement, we've kind of had less of a move.
Well, do you think that the market might be just not mindful enough that tariffs, the next part of tariffs could be retaliation? And that's where you could get market reactions, not just what we do, but how the tit for tat that starts after it.
Well, the problem is that really he's doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever, say the EU has on, whatever, or Germany, we'll take for example, has on the US is going to reciprocate that same tariff. And if you look at the tariffs, the EU has significantly higher tariffs on the US than the US has on the EU. And I've tweeted out that chart before. So we'll have to see. I mean, I don't think that they really want to escalate this so that, we have 100% tariffs on each other. And so if they raise their tariffs, obviously we'd raise ours, and then it just becomes very dangerous, I think.
Okay. Do you think with what's happening geo wise as far as the relationship between Europe and the U.S. under the Trump administration is strained is, I think, a light word
I think,
because of Ukraine.
obviously.
Do you think that this opens a door for Europe to be looking for new friends like China?
Well, I think that we have seen them kind of strengthen their relationship with China, but again, you kind of have to, but that relationship is strained too because of the automobile market, right? Because
Okay,
China's flooding the
Europe
EU with
too. Yeah,
EVs. So um, I think I
yeah,
think
complicated. Everything.
right.
It's
I mean,
almost it's almost like a male-female relationship. Very complicated.
it's
What do you think?
complicated. It's
Yeah,
complicated. I
yeah,
mean, but we've seen, complicated relationships all across the globe, right? So
yeah, yeah. Well, why don't we move to, really something that you uh, really was your specialty. You branched out, but where are you at in crude? Do you think the $70 level is going to hold? Do you think we've already bottomed here in crude?
I don't know.
What's
I
your,
think again, last time I was on, I said I think, crude's going to be rather range bound, and except for that, kind of that spike in January, which was
yeah,
geopolitically motivated. We've been kind of range bound. I've said between 70 and 80. Could we make a further move down in the dollar? Yeah, but I think you're going to get bought you're still going to see it get bought between 68 and 70. So I think we've found somewhat of a floor. Just because of the fundamentals of the market. I mean, the market is very tight right now. We have the lowest global inventories we've ever had. I definitely think that shale has topped out, not every basin, but if you take it as a whole, I think you'll still see growth in the Permian, but I think other basins have kind of topped out, and we'll start to see production roll over going forward because, as I said many times, drill baby drill is just not happening. And if you look at the new energy policy put forth by Chris Wright, our new energy secretary, his 9 pillars of his 9-pillar energy plan, let me say, mentions nothing about drill baby drill. It's more about expanding nuclear and LNG.
Okay. So, the battle between the Fed and the administration over rates, a lot of it is predicated on, people assuming that drill baby drill is going to work and he's going to be able to drive prices down. So
The
he may
problem,
not be able to deliver on that promise either.
yeah,
Eggs and oil.
I mean, the problem is that once you start, if you're holding, 765 or lower, you're going to see production come offline even more because shale
Yeah.
break evens are 65. And so, low prices are the cure for low prices. If we stayed in that area for too long, then you're going to see production come off, and then you'll probably see an energy spike. And you really don't want that to happen. I mean, really, for traders, we're kind of in a range. It's not that much fun, but in
If you're making
reality,
money, it doesn't matter if it's in a range or not, if you can trade the
yeah,
range, right?
yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's fine as far as economies are concerned. I think we're at a good price for oil. It's not too low, it's not too high. So if we stay range bound here, I think it's kind of good for everybody.
Okay. Do you, as far as your view on the dollar, bearish dollar, do you have a favorite fiat? Would it be euro? Would it be the commodity currencies like Canada
I've
or
been I've
Aussie?
I've been watching Canadian dollar, obviously, probably more than anything else, as it relates to tariffs and oil, et cetera.
Right,
Right.
right, right.
Um, so, we saw if you pull back. Well, these charts always freak me out because I look at commodity. I look at the futures, which is
Oh
the
yeah, the other way around.
opposite.
Turn them upside down.
Exactly. So we had that spike. It's come off, it's strengthened a little bit. I
Yeah,
mean, it was looking like it was gonna get real ugly there for a little bit, but
yeah. Didn't stay. Yeah, that was the same day dollar turned. Everything kind of turned that day. So you think you like Canada for continuing to strengthen?
a little bit, I don't expect like I don't expect a whirlwind for this, like, a huge move again, but I think, in your chart, it's shortable.
Okay. All right. How about you're talking about platinum?
I
So
love platinum. We had a good bounce today, a nice bounce today. I still think this chart looks very bullish. It's very range bound. Remember last time I was on, I always said you can always buy, 900 or lower for like a move back to 1,000. That's all it's been doing. I mean, it's been crazy,
yeah.
but I think we will break out this year above that, old high at like 1,100.
Okay. Do you see anything like the gold platinum ratio? I remember when platinum traded at $1,000 premium to gold.
Yeah, I know,
So
crazy.
yeah, yeah. So
So,
could it narrow, have some kind of mean reversion like the
I
gold?
could, I mean, I think it could. I mean, I think we could see 1,400 at some point,
Okay,
this year or next year.
it's a nice
But
move.
yeah,
Okay. All right. Are there stocks that I know natural gas, you were positive natural gas last time we talked.
Yeah,
Is it
positive midstream. So that would be storage and transportation. So I think the pipelines look really good. Since we've talked, they've made a really nice move. If you look at,
yeah.
say, EQT or ET, for example.
Oh, I was wondering what EQT was because I probably put it up because of your
Probably.
last interview, and it did have a great run. I
Yep.
wouldn't be long now, but uh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
probably wouldn't chase it at this level, but
yeah,
I think it's viable on pullbacks for sure.
okay. So natural gas, that's a theme. Dollar, you have any view on risk? Here we are at challenging new highs in S&Ps. You have any kind of view on risk, or you leave that to Andy?
Uh, actually, I'm not with them anymore. So,
Oh, okay. So you don't leave it to him.
so
Okay.
no, but, I think, I mean, over time, the market always goes up, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
just, so, I think, I, I I don't really have any view here. Do I think it can go higher? Yes, I think it can go higher. How much? I don't know.
Okay.
But, I think anytime you see a major pullback, you're going to have buyers come in. I mean,
Okay.
it's just over time, it's, left to right.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see if Isaac Newton has his turn sometime here in the spring.
So,
Some
yeah, we'll
people are
see. I mean, some people,
talking about a growth scare in April.
I've heard
Warren
that too. And some
Warren
people,
Pies interviewed Warren Pies. He's talking about a growth scare. You
yep,
see that
he is.
happening?
We could have because of tariffs, and that would make sense.
Yeah.
And, Trump said he doesn't really care about the market right now, for
Yeah,
example.
so he's prep people.
So,
He even said there will be pain from the tariffs. There'll
right,
be some pain. So people are using the old playbook that like Trump is a Paul put because he doesn't want to see the market go down. And you nailed it. He's already prepping the ground for uh, that to happen, right?
exactly.
So anyway, anything else you want to cover that I haven't thought of on a Friday
Silver,
morning?
let's look at silver really quick. I love silver.
Okay, there you go. Are you a little disappointed it hasn't made new highs with
No, I think
gold?
it's just no, I think it's just a matter of time though, because if you look at a chart, and I posted it yesterday, I believe, every time you have a gold chart, silver kind of lags it, but it it makes a much bigger move. So I think it's really possible that, I think, silver's kind of tried that, 35 area. I think if we make it over that, then, I
Oh,
would
sure.
expect 36 and then 40 really quickly if it gets above
How
36.
about 27 and a half first?
No.
Okay. All right, that's fine. I mean, that's what makes markets. It it may not. Gold silver ratio could be a way to play it, right? We topped last week. I know some guys looking for 94, another push, but if you're right about silver catch-up, the ratio should start to
Drop.
drop. Yeah, that's I know some people that think it's a lifetime type of opportunity that's going to mean revert to 50 or 40. So,
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely can see that happening. I mean, the way I'm playing it is in the minors, but
what are you in silver miners?
Mhm.
Okay, give me one.
I have AG.
Okay, I know AG. I already have that. Okay, AG um
AG's
has
holding that
been,
like,
yeah, I
but
know it pulled back pretty good before yesterday. So you like AG, it's putting in a good week this week.
yeah, I mean, so far that $5 area has been nice support.
Yeah, okay.
So, we just need to,
Do you
right?
like any of the little ones like Endeavor is not testing the lows? Fortuna is off the
Fortuna,
lows.
yep. I've got Fortuna too.
Or how about if you're not a due diligence person, just going with SILG,
Yeah.
J. Yeah,
Yep.
that, okay.
That works
All right.
too.
All right. So we have someone, Tracy likes the color of my hair. And so, I'm not going to frost it or put any black in it and try and look 55, 60. Anyway, Tracy, Silver Bull, Dollar Bear, range bound in WTI,
And
constructive, and what?
I'm platinum gold.
Platinum.
So-
And
But I
and if
think it's, I'm not trying,
you like the
act,
white stuff, you like
I'm
the
act,
white stuff.
I do. I'm actively trading platinum. So, but I'm not trying to short it at all. So I'm just a buyer on
Buying dips.
tips. Yep.
How are spreads on it?
So it's not bad. I mean, platinum's very tradable.
Okay. I just want,
And you can always trade the ETF too, which is PPLT.
okay. Yeah, it looks, if I go to like a 5-minute chart and I start seeing dots, I won't trade it. So, I mean, there are stocks like that to trade in. Some of the miners trade like that, where it's almost like dots. So,
Yeah, no,
you know,
platinum is very, very liquid.
see what I
Never
mean?
had a problem. Yep.
Dots, some dots, not many. And these are pretty liquid. So can you imagine the tertiary, the micro caps are in silver right now.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
anyway, yeah, do your due diligence because,
for
you
sure.
you could be right about the direction of silver and pick the wrong miner. I'm
For
only saying
sure.
it because I've been there. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So appreciate you sharing all this valuable stuff with us today, Trace.
Absolutely. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me on as always.
Yeah. Sorry, I got the date wrong. And
Oh, I'm
thanks
good.
and thanks for your thanks for your flexibility and glad you met our chief. And I
Yes,
hope you have a great 2025.
you too, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so
Yeah.
much. Everybody, be safe out there and have a good Friday.
See you in the spring. You know what? You didn't even have to move from Canada since they're going to be the 51st state anyway.
Well, I'm happy here in Florida.
All right. I think it's probably kind of an angry atmosphere in Canada right now towards
Yeah,
America.
I've heard.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, surf's up, Trace.
All
I'll see you.
right.
I'll
Have a
see you
good day.
later.
All
All
right.
right.
Thanks.
Follow Tracy on X at
Oh
Shy
yeah, I have a
Girl.
new announcement.
Oh, do it.
I am now the senior economist for Ninja Trader Live. So
Oh,
look forward
nice.
to that. We are starting a new show. So that will launch on March 17th. And I will be hosting a morning show.
All right. Well, good luck on that as well, Trace.
All right.
All right. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Tracy Shuchard, everybody at Shy Girl. Everyone have a great weekend and do your work. And remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios, everyone. Have a great weekend. Yeah, okay. Thanks again, Tracy. And I'll see everyone. Adios.